Understanding and preventing bullying. What is bullying? Bullying is the act of targeting and intimidating another individual intentionally to harass them over a certain period of time. So basically, the bullying has to have three characteristics, and they all form the acronym PI. Um, P stands for pervasive, I stands for intentional, and E stands for extended period of time. And if a scenario has all three of those characteristics, then that can be considered as bullying. Okay, so the bully, victim, and bystander. And so all three of these are are involved in a bullying scenario. The bully is the individual who tries to intimidate and harm the other person. The victim is the person being abused due to the bully's actions, and the bystander is the person who watches the victim get bullied. And they they are in the bullying scenario, and they basically make up the scene. And then what do they all have in common? So again, all three of them are in the process of a bullying scenario, and they all have their own roles. The bullies, of course, commit their own harassment wrongfully. The victims may hold their silence because sometimes they're too scared to speak up because of the consequences they might face from the bully if they speak up. And the bystanders, sometimes they may act and help the victim, other times they may not. So when they aren't, then they're basically useless, and they're not really contributing to anything. Okay, so one type of bullying is physical bullying. And physical bullying is when an individual is being bothered or disturbed using physical contact. And then sometimes violence may be involved. So things like kicking, punching, pushing, hitting, slapping, shoving, all of those are ways to physically bully another person. Another type of bullying is verbal bullying. And verbal bullying is when when an individual puts another person down using words, basically insulting them, and it's used to hurt another person's image and to hurt their feelings. And it's very common among girls to verbally bully each other because they're much more subtle, and that's just how they are. They like to say mean things to each other. And the last type of bullying is cyberbullying. And cyberbullying is harassing someone through an electronic device or the internet. And it doesn't require physical presence like physical and verbal bullying does. And this type of bullying usually happens on social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Yeah. Basically, people like to cyberbully because sometimes they can remain anonymous, and it's easier for them to insult people because they're hiding behind a screen instead of confronting the person face to face. And so where do these types of bullying occur? Well, physical and verbal bullying can happen anywhere, anytime in the public. They most commonly happen in schools, but they can also happen in other places like parks, movie theaters, restaurants. And cyberbullying can happen on social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like I previously mentioned. They can also happen on cell phones, through text messaging. And the negative effects of bullying are PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, preference to be alone, anxiety, depression, being insecure and trouble sleeping, and if it gets really extreme, then self-injury and drug abuse. And these are really serious effects, and someone can get seriously hurt, and that would be very bad for someone to get hurt over something very silly like bullying. Who can help you? Basically your parents, your friends, your school administrators, and if you need to, then the police, they can all help you, because I'm sure they'd all want to help you. They don't want to see you get hurt. Okay. What should you do as a victim? As a victim, you should speak up, tell your parents or school administrators, and you should seek help. And then if you do these things, then I'm sure your problems will be solved. What not to do as a victim? Don't engage in a physical fight with the bully, because that can be considered as mutual combat, and instead of getting the bully in trouble, you will be also getting in trouble, because you two were both mutually fighting. So the idea is to get the bully in trouble, not you. So that's why you should not fight. And what should you do as a friend of a victim? As a friend, you should talk to your friend, offer to help them, and if necessary, if your friend is afraid to find help from someone with authority, then you should help them find help, because you should help them because they're your friend and you care about them. Okay, and how can parents prevent bullying? By paying attention to your child, you can see whether you can see a lot from your child, whether they're getting bullied or not. You can see the way they act different, like changing eating habits, or if they like to be alone, they start being dark and talk about hurting themselves. And then you should educate them about bullying and make sure that they know, they're aware of bullying, and teach them to be kind so that they don't bully other kids. Make it known that you don't tolerate bullying, and make sure that there will be severe consequences, that you won't tolerate that kind of thing. And how can teenagers prevent bullying? Raising awareness in schools, that's a way to prevent bullying. And then set up campaigns, like classes, like to educate people about bullying. And then another thing you can do, what my middle school did was, in 8th grade we held an assembly to educate people about bullying and teaching people how to be kind to each other, so that basically you knock out 2 birds with 1 stone with an assembly. You educate people about bullying, and you can raise awareness at the same time. And then in conclusion, you're not alone if you're being bullied, because there are people that will help you. And then it's important that you don't stay quiet and that you seek help, because everyone will want to help you. I mean, your parents, your friends, your teachers, your school administrators, like, they all care about your safety, and they don't want to see you get hurt. So yeah, that's the end of my presentation.